In 2003, Rockstar released one of their most controversial games. The game, simply titled Manhunt, is about a death row inmate who is forced to participate in a series of snuff films by killing criminal gang members sent to hunt him on camera. Manhunt was praised by game critics for its ability to put the player in a frightening psychological situation and for pushing the boundaries of what a game can show. While it didn't become popular like its GTA counterpart, Manhunt was popular among hardcore fans, and over the years, it has been considered a cult classic. However, Manhunt isn't a normal game. You see, this game is disturbingly violent and gory. Thursday, October 1, a Reddit user in r/gaming made a post titled, "What was the most controversial game you've ever played?" Scrolling through the feed, many users mentioned the game Manhunt. A quick search on Google led us to a site from Rockstar for the game itself. Clicking through the link, we are shown the cover art of the game and the description that tells us what it's about. The description read, "They just killed Cash. Now they want to kill him again. America is full of rundown, broken Rust Belt town where nobody cares and anything goes. In Carson City, nothing matters anymore and all that's left are cheap thrills. The ultimate rush is the power to grant life and take it away for sport. This time, James Earl Cash, you are the sport. They gave you your life back. Now, they are going to hunt you down. You awake to the sound of your own panic breath. You must run, hide, and fight to survive. If you can stay alive long enough, you may find out who did this to you. This is a brutal blood sport." The game begins with a news reporter announcing the death sentence of James Earl Cash. Footage of him being executed is shown. However, not long after that, Cash wakes up with a voice on the speaker telling him that he's been given a second chance, not by the public, but through this person. The person then instructs him to pick up the earpiece provided and listen to his instruction because only he can help James get out of this place. After he exits the building, the person informs him that the area is filled with gang members who has been given instruction to kill him on sight. The person tells Cash that he'll help as much as he can, but other than that, he's on his own. He then ends his briefing and we get to control Cash. Okay, now before we proceed, there are several things I need to explain. I think it's best if I mention the name of the person who's giving command first. This will be revealed as you play through the game, but for the sake of this video, we'll do it early. This person is Lionel Starkweather, also known as the director. If you hear me saying the director at some point in this video or Starkweather, just know that that is the same person. Second, the game is all about stealth. Combat is optional and you're given firearms in the later levels, but for the most part, it's better to focus on stealth as the game rewards you for executing enemies brutally. Oh, and there's a stamina bar you can use for running, but the game doesn't recommend that since it'll give your location away. Again, the game encourages you to be as stealthy as possible. Walking a bit further down the alley, we're given our first weapon, a plastic bag. Now, each weapon you get is color-coded. Green ones are one-time use and will be discarded after an execution, while blue and red color ones are light and heavy weapons with an infinite amount of usage. Walking a bit further, the camera shifts to show a hunter blocking the stairs. A command prompt appears teaching us how to execute the victim. This is the reason why Manhunt was considered a controversial game. It teaches the player how to execute the victim in the most brutal way possible. By sneaking up behind the enemy, Cash would lock in on them. The longer he locks in on the enemy, the more brutal the execution was. White color is considered a tame execution, yellow is in the between, and red color are the most violent kill of them all. After Cash kills the hunter, the director talks to him and tells him that he set the guy there to see if Cash had what it takes to be the leading actor. Safe to say, he passed with flying color. The director sends out more hunters to test his ability, which he easily kills. Eventually, he arrives at a parking space. Here, the director informs him that more hunters are patrolling the area, but this time, he adds another piece of information. Apparently, these hunters are part of a gang. The one facing James right now are members of a gang called the Hoods. After successfully killing all of the hunters, Cash goes through several more areas before he eventually finds the exit. The scene then shifts to 4 armed guards coming out of a black truck. These people are Cerberus, Starkweather's personal guard, and their job is to protect Starkweather and transport James from places to places. Anyway, after showing us the armed guards, the scene shifts to Cash running away from the place. He expects to find freedom, but what awaits him are 5 armed guards who beat the crap out of him. As his consciousness faded, Subaru's member drags him into the truck and the scene shifts again, showing us another gang, happily drinking almost as if they're having a party. Their fun was interrupted when a tall, muscular man in an army outfit with a red beret appears. He picks up one of the Skins gang member and crushes his eyes before snapping his neck. This person is Ramirez, and his job is to make sure Cash gets killed by the people Starkweather sets him up with. The scene shifts one last time to Cash being thrown out of the truck. He slowly gets up, and as soon as he does, the director calls him, telling him that he's not done with him yet and asking him to continue the filming. Reluctantly, Cash does what he's told. Eventually, the director grows tired of the Skins gang because not only they are racist, bigoted, and a bunch of white supremacists, but they also go off script and often messed up their job. This doesn't sit well with Starkweather, so he instructs James to murder them all in the most brutal way possible. After eliminating all of the Skins gang, Cash is sure this time he'll be able to leave the place. Except, he can't. As soon as he leaves the area, Cerberus surrounds him and knocks him unconscious. He's then loaded into the truck and the scene changed to two men giving food to something. The camera then changes angle and we get to see a horrifying scene of what seems to be a man wearing a pig head and making pig noises while eating raw meat. The scene then changes to Cash being thrown into a new area. It cuts to Ramirez talking to a new group of hunters wearing military uniforms. These hunters are called War Dogs and they are Ramirez's personal gang. He issued a command telling them to hunt down Cash and kill him, but that proves harder than it looks as Cash easily kills all of them. One by one, the War Dogs died. Sensing that Cash might reach the end goal sooner than he anticipated, Starkweather decides to put up an obstacle. He takes Cash's family member and instructs him to save them all. Pretty simple, right? Well, no. You see, if any of the hunters sees him get close to his family, they'll immediately execute them. This certainly put pressure on him, but against all odds, he managed to save all three of them. After he saved his family members, Cash approached the exit and a scene plays out where he let himself be captured by members of Cerberus. At this point, he knows it's useless to run. The scene then cuts to Ramirez giving order to a new gang. These new gang members are called the Innocents, but unlike what their name suggests, these people are far from innocent. They're a bunch of satanists and extremists who will stop at nothing to kill the target. The scene then changes to Cash arriving in an abandoned mall. This time, things take a different turn. For some reason, Starkweather decides to give Cash some rest and organize a fun game of scavenger hunt. He then tells him that he prepared a special video for him, but in order to watch it, he needs to find the tape and the camera. He ends the briefing by warning James about the enemies being heavily armed. Thankfully, he leaves him a gun just to make things easier. Now, this level is where, in my opinion, stealth becomes secondary. For some reason, I couldn't get the first two guys to come towards me and I waited in the shadows for quite a while before eventually having to leave and face them head on. I thought it was a bug because this game is notorious for being buggy, but later when I watched a video on this level, everyone had to fight them head on. It's a relief to know that this is actually what you need to do in the game. I thought the game was bugged for me. Anyway, after finding the tape and the camera, Starkweather instructs Cash to go to the bar on the first floor to watch the video, and what he sees fills him with anger. In that tape are his family tied to a pole, the same one he saved earlier. Looks like Starkweather never intended to let them go. An innocent gang member comes close to them and brutally decapitates them. Cash is sick to his stomach, but even more so, he's angry. He picks up the TV and throws it away. The scene then changes to Starkweather introducing a homeless person to Cash and telling him to protect that person like his family. Pretty ironic considering he just killed Cash's family, but he had no choice but to comply. The only silver lining here is that Starkweather promised freedom once he's out of this place. After a painstaking escort mission where he needs to keep the homeless person safe from harm and then fight his way out by killing every innocent gang member, Cash finally makes it out, only to be taken by Cerberus once again. The promise was nothing but a lie. This time, Starkweather brings him to a mental asylum, a place that is not only dangerous but where the Smileys gang reside. The Smileys are made up of escaped inmates from Darkwood Penitentiary and are highly unstable and mentally ill. Now here, Starkweather instructs Cash to kill the hunter patrolling the tower walkway and bring his body to the guard room. Doing that is not easy as security is much tighter than before and more hunters patrolling the place. But with patience, Cash is able to kill the leader. After doing what he's told, Starkweather congratulates him and tells him to drop his weapon before proceeding to the next area. A weird request considering he wasn't told to do that previously. Nonetheless, Cash does as he's told and drops down into the hole and into a prison-like area. Here, he's given the freedom to take as much time as he wants in killing the hunters. After all, the goal for this area is to entertain the people by showing them a merciless kill. Starkweather begins by telling Cash to perform a violent and gruesome kill. After fulfilling that, he's instructed to go to the shower block for a surprise. However, something that Cash didn't notice here was that Starkweather sounds cold, as if he lost interest in everything. Well, we'll soon learn why when Cash arrives there. Arriving at the shower block, a man dressed in a rabbit suit appears and runs away. Starkweather instructs him to chase after him for a surprise, but that's not an easy task because the Smiley's gang kept stopping him. Eventually, he managed to catch up with the rabbit suit man. However, instead of getting a reward, Starkweather revealed that this is the end of their partnership. That explains why he sounded uninterested. Starkweather has gotten everything he wanted out of Cash, and to make sure no one knows what happened here, he decided to kill him. The Smiley surrounds him and an all-out shooting commences. But that's not all. Outside, Cerberus stormed the place to hunt and kill him. It seems like this will be the end for James Earl Cash. But against all odds, he survives the ambush. He even killed the rabbit suit person. Starkweather is surprised that Cash survived that. Panic sweeps in and he immediately instructs Ramirez to capture Cash and kill him. Failure isn't an option. Ramirez understood the assignment and waits for Cash at the exit door. As soon as Cash exits, a scene plays out where Ramirez captures him and slams him against the wall. He then proceeds to beat him up and remove all of his weapon. He then calls out the rest of the war dogs and commences a deadly game of hide and seek. Cash knew that if he ever had any chance of survival, he needs to eliminate Ramirez. Using the shadows as his cover, he slowly ascends towards his hiding place while taking out the war dogs patrolling the area. However, when he got there, Ramirez was nowhere to be found. He was one step ahead and runs away. A chase scene commences where Cash was given a time limit before Ramirez calls in backup. Eventually, he managed to catch with Ramirez and kills him before backup arrives. Cash takes the key from him and exits through the gate. As he runs away, a car suddenly comes to a screeching halt, and a woman's voice can be heard telling him to get in the car. Without thinking too much, Cash jumps in and the two speeds away from the place. When Cash is certain they're far enough, he tells the woman to pull over and the man to know who she is. It turns out this woman is none other than the reporter we saw at the start of the game. She saved him because she needs his help getting the document in her apartment. These documents are hard evidence that will convict Starkweather and put him behind bars for good. Hearing this, Cash agrees to help her and the two sets off to the reporter's apartment. However, when they got there, police have surrounded the area. It turns out the reporter has a bounty on her, placed by Starkweather. Cash then continues on foot, and here we're given another escort mission. However, this one is a bit different. Unlike the homeless person, the reporter, if left alone for too long, becomes scared and will come looking for Cash. But eventually, both of them manage to reach the apartment. The reporter then shows the box containing the evidence and asks Cash to leave with her, but he declines. Instead, Cash tells her that he's going to deal with Starkweather personally and asks the reporter to leave as she is his backup plan in case something happens to him. Well, something does happen. On his way to confront Starkweather, Cerberus shows up and captures him once again. The scene then shifts to the reporter outside of Starkweather's mansion. She talks about the allegation against him and how he's banned from directing another movie. Before she can finish her report, the scene shifts once again to Cash and Cerberus inside a warehouse. The leader of Cerberus takes out his gun and tells the other to shut down the camera. Once that's taken care of, the leader aims his gun at Cash's head, but just before he pulls the trigger, Pixie's scream echoes throughout the area. His scream is so loud that all the members are forced to leave and investigate it. Needless to say, it doesn't end well as they're slaughtered by Pixie. This gave Cash the opportunity to escape and make his way to Starkweather, but when he reached the mansion, Cash discovered that Cerberus had locked the elevator. Without it, reaching Starkweather would be impossible. Fortunately, it doesn't take long for him to obtain the key. After killing the squad leader, Cash activates the elevator and rides it. But just as the door closes, Cash hears the sound of a chainsaw coming closer. A scene then plays out where Pixie tries to pry open the elevator door with his chainsaw. Fearing that he might get killed there, Cash looks around for an exit and eventually finds one by climbing through the roof of the elevator. When the scene ends, we see Cash inside an old, dilapidated room. The sound of the chainsaw roars and echoes throughout the entire room. Pixie is nearby. Since he lost his weapon while trying to escape, Cash has to rely on any sharp objects scattered in that room as weapons. Using the shadow as its cover, Cash attacks Pixie, stabbing him in the back. After the third attack, Pixie left the room, but Cash wouldn't let him go. He chased Pixie all the way to the top where he tragically falls down to his death. So after killing Pixie, Cash picks up the chainsaw and storms into Starkweather's office. He's visibly surprised and shaken by this. In his last-ditch effort, Starkweather tries to bargain with Cash but he's ignored. Cash takes the chainsaw and shoves it into Starkweather and then brutally dismembering his body. The game then ends with the reporter reporting the death of Starkweather. She mentioned the gruesome way he died but doesn't mention the assailant. It's also revealed here that the police chief was an accomplice. He denied that claim and will be pleading not guilty. Cash is nowhere to be seen and the game ends with the reporter finishing her report on this horrible case. Following the success of Manhunt, Rockstar began developing the sequel as early as 2005. Rockstar Vienna was in charge of its development. However, a year later in May 2006, Take-Two Interactive abruptly shut down the studio due to cost cutting. Manhunt's sequel was then handed over to Rockstar London, where they would continue developing the game. Finally, in February 2007, Rockstar announced the sequel. The game would be called Manhunt 2.
Manhunt 2, coming to a screen near you. It is a new video game full of brutal killings.
Well, I think this is maybe the one game that ought to be banned out.
This video game, so horrifying, it has been banned.
Searching Manhunt 2 on Google will lead us to a website from Rockstar for the game itself with this description. An experiment at a secret research facility has gone catastrophically wrong. Daniel Lamb and Leo Casper are the only surviving subjects. The Pigman Project will stop at nothing to hunt them down and stop the truth from getting out. Demented screams echoes around the dank asylum that has caged you for the last 6 years. You open your eyes. A white-coated body slumps to the floor through your shaking hands. A bloody syringe slips from your arm. Waves of confusion and paranoia crash over you. You have no idea who you are or how you got here. The door to your cell is open. One choice, one chance. They took your life. Time to take it back. Manhunt 2 follows Daniel Lamb, a mental patient suffering from amnesia, as he tries to uncover his identity, and Leo Casper, a sociopathic killer who guides Daniel in his journey. The sequel vastly improved many things from the first game, most notably in the gameplay mechanics. Enemies are much more receptive and checks the area thoroughly. When that happens, players are given a set of buttons to press so they can hold their breath. Another new feature in this sequel is firearm execution and environmental kills. Firearm execution uses the protagonist's weapon to execute the hunters. To do this, they simply need to sneak up on the hunter, lock onto them, and push the execute button. Environmental kills are execution kills that are marked with a skull on the map. To initiate it, players need to lure the hunters there and press the execution button. Manhunt 2 also features more dialogue and character feels more lifelike than before. However, these improvements meant the game was going to be more violent than before. Manhunt 2 was initially given an adults-only rating, and this proves to be a problem because Sony, Nintendo, and Microsoft do not allow licensed release of adult-only titles on their consoles. This would have severely limited their potential customer base in the US. In response to this rating problem, Rockstar censored the game by applying a filter to the scene during the game's execution, removing the scoring system, which rewarded the player for brutal killings, and cutting out more content from the game. This edited version was then given an M rating by the ASRB, and on October 29, 2007, Manhunt 2 was finally released worldwide. The game begins with a cutscene of two panicking nurses at Dixmoor Asylum. A severe thunderstorm caused the security system at the asylum to go momentarily offline. This was the night where all hell broke loose.
Holy fuck. That ain't supposed to happen. We're back online. Thank fucking God.
Oh, shit. Look!
Get some help!
The lock suddenly malfunctioned and inmates took this chance to escape. A nurse was pinned to the ground and was brutally beaten up by them. In all this commotion, 2 nurses we've seen earlier mentioned the name Dr. White, a person who would become important later on. For now, the scene shifts to the same doctor being strangled by one of the patients, Daniel Lamb. Danny for short. She then fell to the ground and the door to his cell opened. Another inmate appeared, telling Danny that they had won. This is Leo Casper. Leo urged Danny to come out and escape his prison with him. Still dazed, Danny exited the prison cell and followed Leo. We then see Leo running ahead, saying that he'll scout the area for any enemies. In the meantime, he tells Danny to learn the basic of hiding from the enemies. Here, the game teaches you how to sneak, use the shadow, and move when the enemy is not looking. If you play Manhunt 1, this will feel all too familiar. Danny continues his way until he sees a nurse beating up a patient. He wanted to ask for help, but Leo is strongly against that and tells him to kill him instead. Danny objects to this, but after being persuaded by Leo, he brutally killed the nurse. Since he had never killed anyone before, Danny vomited. He continued on with Leo, making his way through the asylum halls. Along the way, Leo teaches him how to fight and get him accustomed to killing the hunters. Over time, Danny got used to it and could kill them without throwing up. Eventually, they spotted a truck guarded by 2 nurses patrolling the area. After killing them, Danny boards the truck and leaves the asylum. The scene then changes to both of them in the garage. Leo urged Danny to hurry up because they need to retrieve something from his house. That thing is a drug that will clear his mind and let him regain his memory. Danny is taken aback by this and asks Leo how he knows all of this. Leo replied with,
Keep moving, we haven't got much time. We have to get to the house.
Wait a minute. I used to live around here.
Not anymore, Danny, but there's something in that house we need. Something you left for yourself. We've got to be quick. This is the first place the project will look for us.
Wait, how do you know all this?
Danny, listen. It's a manhunt, and they won't stop until we're both dead. Come on. Let's go.
Convinced by what he said, Danny made his way to his old house. Along the way, Watchdog, the project cleanup crew, appeared. Leo warned Danny to be careful as these people were ruthless and would stop at nothing to hunt them until they're dead. Eventually, they arrived at Danny's home where Danny began having visions of his past. When he entered the house, he was shocked to see the interior in a ruined state and asked Leo what had happened here. Leo explained that the project had done all of this, but without explaining any further, he changed the subject and told Danny to search every cabinet for the drug. As he was searching every inch of the house, visions of his past kept appearing, such as a woman screaming at him and a little kid who could be seen appearing from time to time. This vision made Danny question their origins and whether they were related to him, but Leo just brushed it up and told him to continue searching for the drug. Eventually, he found the drug hidden in the basement. After acquiring the syringe, Danny injected the drug through his arm. It took a while for the effect to kick in, but once it did, Danny's memory slowly returned. Leo was glad to see him back to normal but told Danny they need to get out fast since the project was closing in on them.
Leo?
That's right. But we don't have time to reminisce. Getting out was just the beginning, Danny. The project can't let us live. They can buy a private army if they want to, and they will.
We then see Danny looking at a box of matches with the name Judy on it and wondering why he had left this item for himself. Unable to contain his curiosity, Danny decided to investigate. The match he left led them to a nightclub in the red light district owned by the project. Leo was against going there since the place would be full of hunters, but Danny was adamant about wanting to investigate that place, claiming that he needed to go there to see someone who would be able to tell him more about his past. As they were looking for a way in, one of the hunters almost spotted them, but luckily they managed to run away by going through the back alley and into a broken window. As both of them headed deeper underground, disturbing screams could be heard echoing through the locked room. Some were tortured using a circular saw and some were electrocuted. All of them didn't make it. Danny was disgusted by this but continued on. They eventually met a scientist named Dr. Judy who warned Danny that he shouldn't come to this place since Pickman would definitely search for him here. But when Danny accidentally mentioned Leo's name, Dr. Judy was visibly distraught and even scared. She avoided Danny and handed him the key to the old safe house, claiming that he'd find what he needed there. She then warned him to not come find her again before leaving in a hurry. Danny was confused by her action but continued on.
You shouldn't have come here, Danny.
You know my name?
They'll catch you, take you back.
Tell me what's going on.
It's the project, Danny. They're everywhere.
What's going on? Leo said I should...
Leo? You've spoken to Leo?
Without Leo, I wouldn't even be here.
Okay, you told me to give you this. The old safe house.
Safe house? Where?
Above the cinema. Don't come back here, Danny. Please, just let it go.
She's setting us up, Danny.
They went to the safe house located just above the theater, and Leo tried once again to warn Danny that all of this could be a trap. But Danny still wouldn't budge on his decision to check the safe house. Carefully navigating his way through the place, Danny and Leo entered the safe house, where he discovered that he used to collect newspaper clippings and put up photos of himself to help him remember his past. He then saw a picture of his friend Michael, and waves of memory came rushing in.
This must be the safe house. What a shithole.
Safe house. All these clippings, photos of me. I put these here to make me remember. But why? That's me and Michael. Oh my God, Michael.
Danny remembered that Leo had killed Michael. As Danny looked at Leo in disbelief, Leo brought up the fact that Michael had betrayed him first. Danny wasn't convinced by what Leo said, but he decided to trust him. I mean, when had Leo ever lied to him? He had saved his ass multiple times. As he was looking around, Danny noticed something under the bed of his safe house. A revolver 6-shooter and a picture of Dr. Judy, the scientist that he had met earlier. Realizing that Dr. Judy knew more about his past, he decided to meet her again.
You killed Michael?
He set us up and sold us out. It was survival, pure and simple. Let's get out of here. Those cops knew who you were. You're gonna have to change those clothes.
Wait, what's this? Judy? Michael said they messed with my head.
We then see Danny having nightmares of his past before Leo abruptly woke him up and persuaded him once again to stop seeing Judy since the place was dangerous. Danny refused though, since he wanted to know more about his past. The two made their way through the brothel building, fighting off the hunters sent to kill them. Meanwhile, on Judy's side, she called Pickman and warned him that Danny and Leo were after her. Pickman ordered her to deal with him, to which she refused for her own life. After threatening her to do what he said, Judy quit the project on the phone and hung up.
He's here, with Leo. I don't know how he found me. Are you crazy? He's an animal, and Danny barely remembers who I am. Don't threaten me, Pickman. I won't do this anymore. I quit.
Eventually, Danny managed to find Judy on the roof, who warned him about Leo and not to trust anyone. But before she could tell him the most important piece of information, Judy was shot and fell to her death. Another shot was fired, barely missing Danny. Leo reminded him that they had a bounty on their head, so every hunter sent by Pickman was definitely there to kill them. Fearing for his life, Danny ran away.
There she is.
Stay away from me!
No! I need to talk to you!
I can't trust Leo.
Don't listen to her, Danny.
I've helped you all I can, Danny. Don't trust anybody, especially...
No!
It's the project. Move!
No!
It's okay.
No!
It's okay. I've got you. Come on.
Luckily, he managed to get away and immediately headed to the project's lab, where they spotted Pickman. Leo instructed Danny to capture Pickman because there's something he needed from him. While searching for Pickman, Danny came across an auditorium with the logo TVMK. Looking around the place, Danny remembered that he was strapped to a chair, staring deeply at the screen while fast sequence of words love, duty, trust, hate, fear, lust, associated image, and the project logo were shown. Dr. White, Dr. Pickman, and Michael Grant were also present there, overseeing the experiment. Danny continued to look for Pickman until he heard his voice through the speaker saying the phrase, "What seest thou else in the dark, backward, and abysmal of time?" causing Danny to have a blackout and be captured by watchdogs. When he woke up, he found out that his weapon has been taken and he was guarded by a watchdog armed with a shotgun. After a while, the guard was called away, giving him a chance to kill him. Pickman realized that Danny had escaped and attempted to control him again using the phrase from earlier. However, this time, Danny was quick enough to destroy all the speakers in the room. Swarms of watchdogs attempt to stop him, but Danny managed to get through all of them and eventually captured Pickman in the auditorium. Leo thanked Danny and told him to rest while he took care of Pickman. He strapped him to a chair and injected something to wake him up. When Pickman woke up, he was surprised to see Leo and demanded to see Danny. but Leo refused and threatened to kill him. Pickman wasn't fazed by his threat and said the hypnotic phrase in an attempt to knock him out. However, Leo managed to stab Pickman to death before he was knocked out. The game then shifts to a flashback where Danny overhears the dialogue between Dr. Pickman, Michael, and Dr. White as they prepare Danny for the experiment. It was revealed here that Leo was a preserved personality of a deceased cold-blooded killer. Dr. White was against implanting Leo into Danny's mind, but Pickman ignores her warning and proceeded. This resulted in Danny sharing his own mind with a killer.
Daniel, please untie me.
Danny isn't here.
Leo. Where's Daniel? I'd like to have a word with him.
This is about what I want. I want you to remove the Pickman Bridge.
Think, Leo. If I take it out, what do you think will happen to you?
I'll be free.
No, you'll be dead. Now let me speak to Daniel.
Shut up! Danny's gone.
Shut up or what, Leo?
What do you think?
If you kill me, Leo, you'll be lost forever. Now let me speak to Daniel.
You're lying.
It only takes one phrase from me, Leo. Don't push
Or
me.
what, huh?
What
the
seest
hell are
thou
you gonna do?
else in the dark, backward and abysm of time? Michael, is he ready to go?
Motor muscles at rest. Pupillary dilatation complete.
Dr. White, pass me the sample carrier marked Leo.
But we agreed to use the control personality, not Leo. Leo is a killer.
Yes, I know what Leo was. Now, we've got one chance to make this work before they shut this project down.
Okay, Dr. Pickman. He's ready to go.
Some time passed and Danny woke up. Leo informed him that Pickman had died. This horrified Danny, who felt lost since Pickman was his only lead to uncovering his past, but Leo reassured him that there was another way. They needed to find Dr. White, the only person who can help them. Fighting through hordes of bloodhound hunters, they eventually caught up to Dr. White. Danny planned on catching her so he could talk to her, but Dr. White was one step ahead. Sneaking up behind him, she managed to stab a syringe into him, which caused Danny to lose consciousness. Sometime after, Danny woke up in the therapy room in the project's facility. He tried calling Leo's name, but he didn't get a response. Dr. White appeared and told him that he could talk to Leo anytime he wanted, but now was not the time. She then asked Danny if he remembered who he was and what he had done. When Danny said no, Dr. White explained that Danny was a scientist who believed that the human mind could coexist with another personality and creates a perfect weapon. She explained that the personality could exist together unaware of each other. Danny found it odd because he'd been interacting with Leo this entire time. It was here that he learned that the Pickman Bridge used in the experiment had malfunctioned, and Dr. White was trying to repair it, but that was when Leo and Danny decided to escape.
Do you remember who you were, Danny?
No.
Do you remember the work we did?
No.
You believed we could take a normal individual and implant a second personality, triggered at will. Our intention was to create the perfect weapon. A killer with no conscience or memory. Does he sound familiar, Danny?
Leo.
Two minds in one body unaware of each other.
Wait, that's not right. Leo and I talk all the time.
The bridge malfunctioned early on. We were working to repair the damage when you, or Leo, decided to escape.
I see. How do we fix this?
Pickman thought his mercenaries could destroy Leo. I believe the only person who can stop him is you.
Danny realized his mistake and agreed to fix it, but before that, Dr. White needed Danny to remember what had happened that night when the Pickman Bridge malfunctioned. The game then shifts to a flashback where we get to control Leo. After fighting his way through the police and the SWAT team, he arrived at Danny's home where he brutally murdered Danny's wife. Pickman arrived at the house after the incident, accompanied by an asylum orderly. Horrified by what he saw, he tried to calm Danny and assured him that he would block all of his memory from the night of the incident, including everyone he had murdered under the control of Leo. An emotionless Danny sat down and turned on the TV, ignoring Dr. Pickman. Dr. Pickman then told the asylum orderly to take Danny away, remove the camera, and torch the house in order to erase any evidence of the project being behind the incident.
Daniel! You will not remember anything before this moment. You will not remember us being here. You will never speak to Leo again. A little too effective, I feel. Get him out of here. Remove the cameras, torch the house.
After remembering what had happened, Danny was still reluctant to let go of Leo since he had saved him multiple times. Dr. White handed him a folder containing a picture of Danny's old residence where he used to live with his family. She reassured him that his kids were fine, but when Danny asked about his wife, Dr. White went silent for a moment. With a heavy sigh, she showed him the security footage taken from his house during the incident.
This will help you understand why you must let go of Leo.
Jesus, Danny, you're scaring me! Danny! Let go of me, Danny!
Danny isn't here. I'll be taking care of him from now on. Gosh, you fucking bitch! You bitch!
Danny was horrified as he heard his wife's blood-curdling scream, begging him to stop, but was ignored as she was stabbed multiple times with a kitchen knife. Upon learning the truth, Danny determined that he must destroy Leo once and for all. With Dr. White's help, Danny entered a deep hypnotic state and faced off against Leo within the confines of his own mind. Leo had created a distorted reality version of the Weary Pine Cemetery in Danny's head in order to cause further guilt over the killings he had committed. Many past enemies that Danny had faced off against before appeared. This was done by Leo in order to bait Danny into falling into a state of despair. However, Danny pushed on and continued killing Leo's manifestation. In a last-ditch effort, Leo manifested Danny's wife and killed her once again in an attempt to weaken Danny's grip on his own mind. However, this didn't work because Danny heard the voice of his wife telling him that he shouldn't blame himself for her death. She wished for Danny to put her to rest and move on with his life. As Danny finished burying his wife, he heard Leo's voice right behind him, taunting him once again. In a fit of rage, he quickly turned and hit him with a shovel, saying he chose to be himself. Leo just laughed it out, further angering Danny, who hit him again and again, until his voice slowly fades away, destroying him once and for all. The game ends with Danny waking up on a deserted street with no memory of anything, not even his name. He quickly noticed an envelope next to him and opened it up. The letter informed him that his name was David Joyner and that he lived downtown. Danny was confused and walked away.
My name is... I don't know my name. Your name is David Joyner. You live downtown at the following address. You'll find everything you need there. Good luck. 526 Hope Street, Apartment B.
So Manhunt 2 only has one ending, and that's the true ending. But there is an alternate ending where Danny locked up Leo instead of killing him. Titled as Release Therapy, this is the alternate ending where Leo won and kills Danny. It started with Danny locking up Leo in the deepest part of his mind. However, Leo, being the professional he is, managed to escape and confront Danny. An all-out shootout happened where Leo emerged as the victor. 3 weeks later, Leo, now in full control of Danny's body, woke up in the project's facility. Dr. White informs him that she had removed the pigment bridge implant on his head to make sure Leo's personality is gone. With Danny, now allegedly free from Leo's influence, Dr. White suggests him to return to his work on the project. Danny tells Dr. White to give him a moment to think alone. As Dr. White leaves, the camera pans to the mirror, revealing the reflection of Leo, symbolizing the fact that Danny's personality has been erased from his mind and replaced by Leo's.
Dr. Lamb, how do you feel? I followed the protocols exactly as you left them.
I'll
How long was I out?
You've been out for 3 weeks now. I took the decision to remove the Pickman Bridge. It was the only way we could be sure. We're very keen to resume work on the project. Shall I gather the staff?
Yes. Just give me a moment.
So before Manhunt 2 was released worldwide, there's actually files for all the characters and a bit of lore on what happened before the event of Manhunt 2. This is mostly on the website. I'll try to link the site on the description so you guys can read it. The story goes, in 1986, Daniel Lamb, a fresh graduate of the University of San Fierro, found a job as a lab technician for Green & Becker's Pharmaceutical Inc. He worked there until 1989, where he became a research associate for McKenzie Druckners Incorporated. At some point before 2001, while working as a scientist for the government-sponsored Pickman Project program, Danny created a drug called Cortexa, a brain stimulant medication which prevents amnesia and stimulates lost memory. This is the drug that he used when he went back to his house. This drug was a breakthrough in the medical world and skyrocketed his position to the top of the organization. Life was great for Danny. He got married and had 2 kids, a girl and a boy. But at some point he got into a great debt. Luckily for him, he was already working on the Pickman Project program, named after the head scientist, Dr. Pickman. Now, their goal is to create the perfect assassin with no emotion and be used by the government's intelligence agency against threat. 2 minds in one body, unaware of each other. To achieve this, they would implant the Pickman Bridge into the subject's brain and inject a second personality. Since Danny was involved in the creation of the Pickman Bridge, he volunteered as a test subject. His wife, however, was not too happy about this and warns Danny about playing God. However, with the project promising to pay off his debt if he participates, Danny couldn't resist and agreed to be a test subject. A fatal mistake that would cost him everything. On the day of the experiment, Danny was brainwashed thoroughly. He was forced to watch videos containing subliminal message. When it's time to implant the personality, Dr. Pickman uses Leo Casper instead of a controlled one. This is a problem because Leo was a killer. Dr. White objected to this, but Dr. Pickman reassured her that it'll be fine. However, the bridge malfunctioned soon after it was implanted, causing Danny to suffer from dissociative identity disorder, DID, resulting in him being able to directly communicate with the implanted personality, who he perceived as a real person. Remember, the project's goal was to create a perfect killer who can coexist with the other personality. They cannot interact with each other, so him being able to interact with Leo already tells us that something is definitely wrong. Shortly after the bridge malfunction, Leo wanted to control Danny's body. He first threatened Danny's best friend Michael, but when that didn't work, he killed him. Danny didn't know any of this because every time Leo took over, he experienced a blackout. By the time Pickman found him, Leo had already killed Danny's wife. Horrified by what Danny had done, he put him inside the mental asylum where he would spend 7 years in that institution before he broke out. Manhunt is by far one of the most violent games of the 2000s, and I don't blame parents for being worried and countries for banning this game altogether, especially after what happened in 2004. On July 28, 2004, the game was linked to the murder of 14-year-old Stefan Pakira by 17-year-old Warren LeBlanc in England. Initial media report claimed that police had found a copy of the game in LeBlanc's bedroom. That game is none other than Manhunt. This sparked an outrage and people demand Rockstar to ban the game, but Rockstar denied the request, stating that the game was intended for adult and was never meant to be played by kids. Now, looking at these articles from back then, you can't help but seeing people labeling this game as a murder simulator, but Manhunt is much more than that. Sure, on the surface it might look like a murder simulator, but if you actually play the game, you know that that's not all it offers. You see, Manhunt emphasized a lot on stealth, and when you look at it closer, you can see just how advanced it is for its time. I mean, how many games allow you to lure your enemy by tapping on the wall or throwing an object to distract enemy just so you can kill them? Not many. The stealth mechanic are much more than just the usual hide in the dark area and take them out routine. Of course, this game is not without its flaw. One of my biggest gripe with this game is the aiming system. I don't get why you need to be at a certain distance just so the bullet can hit the person. If you're far away, then you're not gonna hit anything, even though you perfectly align the dot to the enemy's head. Another one is the bugs. For some reason, this game punishes you for being careful and stealthy. No joke, the game intentionally gave you game-breaking bug. The list goes on and on, just goes to show how broken this game is. But that's the game. In terms of gameplay, Manhunt is surprisingly good. Stuff like the sound design, it's really good. The ambiance, the music played, every moment whether it's being scared, exposed, etc. The music is spot on. It's also realistic to the point where the sound made by the enemies when you execute them by using a knife or machete is unnerving. I've never been so disturbed by a game before, and this one managed to make me squirm. Manhunt is a good horror game. Yes, you heard me. I consider this game a horror game because people are much more terrifying than any ghost or monster, and Manhunt perfectly encapsulates that. And with that, I wrapped up this Manhunt series. This is definitely one of the most brutal games I've ever played, and I don't know how I managed to play this game back when I was a kid. It's so crazy to me because back then I didn't know anything about this game. I just think of it as some sort of kind of like GTA. Now, fun fact, I do want to play this game on PC at first, and I found the files already, but when I tried to install it on my PC, for some reason it wouldn't let me pass the loading screen. So I was like, I'm not gonna deal with this, and I'm rushing on time as well, so I decided to just play it on the PlayStation 2 version with the updated graphics and all that stuff. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that video. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you do, don't forget to subscribe so you get to see more content like this. Like the video so I know you enjoyed this stuff. Check out my previous video if you haven't yet, and become a member to support the channel and get more interesting stuff in the future. That's all for me. See you.